Now more than ever, the pop culture landscape has been optimally primed for a terrorist-fighting, highly trained special mission force comprised of elite military operatives, a ninja commando, and his dog. Their last high-profile mission was in 2013, and no one has heard from them since. With nearly 60 years in active combat, you can't blame them for taking leave every once in a while, but this is different. This is happening today, right now. The clock is ticking. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and G.I. Joe is missing in action. There have always been 24 hours in a day, but we didn't discover this until recently with the invention of cable news entertainment networks and Twitter. The need for constant updates, constant information, breaking news, rumors, announcements makes every day out of the public eye seem like an eternity. And if I could just editorialize on that for a minute, no me gusta. It's birthed a sales-driven entertainment machine that requires regular reinventions and reboots of proven, bankable, low-risk brands with built-in customer attachment. So excuse me for perpetuating the system by wondering why this particular brand has languished lo these 5 years. Blame belongs to Hasbro, Hollywood, and, me, us, the consumers, for why a 5-year absence from movie theaters feels like an entertainment brand has completely fallen off the face of the earth. It really hasn't been that long, but here we am asking the important questions. And if I could, let me just say that I am supremely happy there have been two live-action G.I. Joe movies in my lifetime. I never thought I would be having conversations where I said things like, see, what I didn't like about the second G.I. Joe movie, what I hope they change for the third one is, see, it's a given now. It's a given that there is going to be another G.I. Joe movie. That's how things work now, and that applies to any and all brands ever. There is no brand that is beyond the reach of revival at a moment's notice for a deep, well-thought-out exploration or a soulless cash grab. So where is G.I. Joe? Why isn't G.I. Joe having the same kind of mainstream success as fellow Hasbro brand Transformers? Is it because G.I. Joe is ultimately about selling war, and war is bad for business? This, of course, is absolute nonsense. From a marketing standpoint, war is good, war is right, war works. Transformers, Star Wars, DC, Marvel, if you take away war, there's nothing left for me to collect. Is it because G.I. Joe's explicit stated battle against terrorism is bad for business? Cobra is a terrorist organization, and that's a hot potato to just toss out there to sell a kid's action figure line in 2018. Yes, there was terrorism back in the 80s when the classic Real American Hero line was introduced, but things changed in 2001. What's the meeting like when you're trying to pitch a toy line about the war on terrorism to a room full of buyers from Target and Walmart? A lot of this. Ew. Maybe G.I. Joe needs some superheroes. These days, everything got's the superheroes. If it's not space wizards with their magical force powers and laser swords, it's the mutants versus Magnets Man, or superpowered ninja rangers with giant robots, or 9-foot-tall teenage turtle monsters. How can you sell a line of figures, a franchise of movies that is essentially just about normal humans whose real powers are their courage, skills, and dedication to country and mission? And how far do you want to tip the balance of the ninja subplot that is right below the surface, constantly threatening to torpedo the sense of real-world military realism you're trying to establish? Look, none of those things matter. What does matter in the current market is how the movies perform at the box office. If butts find seats, the plastic products sell. More movies get made. This isn't rocket science. I assure you, there's no money in rocket science. In 2009, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra had a budget of $175 million. It did $150 million domestically and a total of just over $300 million worldwide. To put that in perspective, Transformers, which came out 2 years earlier, had a budget of $150 million. That's less than G.I. Joe, but it did $320 million domestically and over $700 million total. That's the kind of numbers Hasbro and Paramount were looking for. Fast forward 4 years, add a few names to the roster with proven box office draw, Bruce Willis, The Rock, new writers, new director, trim the cast of characters, lose Snake Eyes' creepy lips, tell a closer story, and cut the budget by $45 million. G.I. Joe Retaliation did $123 million domestically and $375 million worldwide. Cost less, performed better overall, yes, but still not quite what they were looking for out of what should have been their primary audience in the United States. But it was progress, and that should have been enough to keep the Joe train running for at least one more film. In 2013, Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, one of the producers of the 3 about-to-be 4 Transformers movies, stated that he was open to pursuing a shared G.I. Joe Transformers universe. probably since Marvel was showing how much people liked shared universes. Marvel was already 8, about to be 10 movies into their historic run at the box office. However, rumors and actual announcements about a potential shared Hasbro universe continued, and G.I. Joe has been stuck in that developmental red tape ever since. Of course, they want to use the strength of the already successful Transformers as a building block, but where do you go from there? It's too bad they didn't attempt it sooner. One of the best representations of G.I. Joe on the big screen so far has been the troops that accompany the Transformers throughout the entire saga. Would it have been so hard to call Josh Duhamel's character Duke instead? A third G.I. Joe movie, which will likely reboot the series and act as the first part of the new Hasbro shared universe, is currently targeting March of 2020. DJ Caruso of XXX Return of Xander Cage, and possibly even a fourth XXX movie before he gets to G.I. Joe, is currently slated to direct, and no other official announcements have been made. Hopefully Hasbro will learn from DC's attempt to play fast catch-up and give each of their unfamiliar brands a chance to develop independent of one another before smashing them all together in one film. Even a trilogy of movies that attempted to simultaneously introduce G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, Visionaries, and ROM would be insufficient screen time for any of them to be fully established or have any kind of meaningful connection with the audience. Can it even be done? Can these brands even play nice together? Well, the Joes have been testing it out in the comics since 2016 as part of the Hasbro Reconstruction, which seeks to take all of the various continuities of the Hasbro brands and connect them in a shared universe concept across various titles and series. IDW's Revolution series kicked off in 2016 with not only Transformers and G.I. Joe, but Action Man, Mask, Micronauts, and ROM as well. Spinning out of that were various one-shot comics for all of those brands, and then a follow-up crossover series in 2017 called First Strike. Visionaries joined the fray in 2017. No word yet on when My Little Pony, Stretch Armstrong, and Army Ants will be incorporated. The absence of G.I. Joe as a driving presence in this golden age of 80s brands for the last 5 years while Transformers continued to roll out has been glaring. G.I. Joe and Transformers are what defined Hasbro long before they had the rights to Star Wars or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But hey, if nothing ever happens with G.I. Joe, with this gamble at a shared cinematic universe, the absolute absurdity of trying to get G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Visionaries all onto a screen at the same time, don't worry about Hasbro. They're doing fine. They still have Drop Mix, Yahtzee, Furby Connect, Baby Alive, Littlest Pet Shop, Pie Face, thank you. Thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe. Please hit subscribe if you are not already a subscriber. This is the first time I've ever said this stuff. Share this video with Joes and Cobras, and let us know down in the comments below which Joe or Cobra just has to be in the next movie, regardless of what it's about. For me, it's Snake Eyes, so safe bet? Gonna be happy? Low expectations.
Probably a safe bet.
All right.
Okay.